We use this exact email strategy to generate an additional 10% of revenue for literally any 8-figure brands out there. And I'm gonna show you guys exactly how we do this in this video. And the tactic is actually nothing special, it's just raising volumes by a lot. Right? So for our 8-figure partners, a lot of them we would essentially just send daily campaigns for. When it comes to sending daily campaigns and building out a kind of like pretty creative and highly engaging calendar, this is where a lot of brand owners tend to struggle. I would really say when it comes to sending daily campaigns, it becomes to be pretty worth it if you're like a brand after around $500,000 a month. And it's nowhere near as difficult as you think, because when people hear that we send daily campaigns sometimes, they think, oh, my list is going to get really tired of it, we're going to have spam issues, and a lot of people are going to end up leaving the list. But first of all, let me just show you like the types of results that we can actually get with daily sending. You can see this brand does $7.8 million a month, and we add just shy of $1 million a month for them through the campaigns alone. First things first, when it comes to daily sending, segmentation is super important. It's really important that you guys are not sending to your whole entire list every single time. And the way to do this is by going inside of your Klaviyo account and building a segment that's something like a 90 days engaged segment, or even a 30 days engaged, depending on your list size and your deliverability. Right? So when it comes to building 90 days engaged, it will look something like this. So if someone can or cannot receive email marketing with the condition of and has opened email at least once in the last 90 days, and boom, that's it. Right? That's essentially a 90-day engaged. Now you want to do a 60-day engaged as well as a 30-day engaged. The only difference being this variable right here. I'm just demonstrating this on a test account that we have. Now, the reason why you want to actually create all three of these segments is because you're going to target all three at the same time. So this is an example of why we're doing this. Once you create these three segments, you're going to actually target all three segments at the same time in the first campaign. The reason why I want you guys to do this is because I want to demonstrate something to you, which is the audience breakdown feature of Klaviyo. When you click into the analytics of any campaign, if you're targeting multiple segments, you're going to see this audience breakdown segment right here, and it will be presented to you in this form here. So essentially, you're going to click here to rank it in ascending order by revenue, and you're going to see the highest performing segment is probably going to be the 90 days, 60 days, and then 30 days, and so forth. But what I want to demonstrate here is the difference between the 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days revenue attribution is not going to be vastly different. Meaning that majority of people who are actually purchasing from these emails are recent engagers with your campaigns. Meaning that actually there's not a huge benefit to sending to a really broad audience. And once you understand this, you kind of unlock the possibilities of actually starting to send daily campaigns to your list. The next thing is to actually generate the ideas, right? Because ideation, you want to keep the calendar fresh, original, etc. So I'm going to show you guys a hack to actually utilize AI to quickly generate a bunch of campaign ideas for your given brand. So you're actually going to go into ChatGPT, make sure you're using the premium subscription and selecting the 4.0 model. So let's think of a brand. Let's take something like a Gymshark, right? So what we're going to do first of all is create your own brand profile for the store you're trying to generate the ideas for, because it's no good just telling GPT like, hey, here's the URL for the store, because they don't understand the pain points, the objections, etc. for your target demographic. So effectively, what I want you to type in is something along the lines of, hey, I own this brand called, let's say Gymshark.com, right? Because that's super easy to write for. We're an athleisure brand that specializes in training wear that is inclusive of all sizes and is a leader in the space. Come up with all possible pain points that the brand addresses, as well as transformational stories, etc. in bullet point format. The whole point of the first prompt is really just to get the AI to, number one, memorize your brand and just kind of briefly understand it. The reason why I picked Gymshark is because their website has been around for a long time. So GPT actually knows a lot about the brand because they can scrape the past data as of April 2023, I believe. But for your own brand, if it's a newer store, for example, or if the brand has not been around or is not as known, it's best to actually give a product description as well as a brand description. Give it basically as much details as possible, especially also talking about like the target demographic of your audience as well. Once you get it to come up with like a bunch of pain points, transformational stories, basically giving it a bunch of angles to focus on, what you're then gonna do is you're then gonna tell it to come up with a list of 10 email angles for promotional campaigns. And now once it's done that, you then can just tell it to kind of put together an email calendar for whatever month you're in, contextualizing it to the month. So it would be something along the lines of, can you put together a calendar that is contextualized to the month of December for one campaign every single day, utilizing an even distribution of all angles mentioned above. Once you tell it that, it's then gonna put together like a bunch of email calendars essentially for each individual day. And once you have these ideas, you can introduce offers, promotions, and just kind of like work around your own brand's calendar. But this essentially can form the bedrock of your daily sending. It's really important that you actually tell it to ideate based on the time of year, because then you can contextualize it to holidays and any promotional calendars that might be up and coming. Of course, this is just like a draft. Feel free to kind of go in and modify whatever before writing the copy. So yeah, this is essentially how to generate a bunch of like really awesome email ideas to actually be able to facilitate sending daily campaigns. And lastly, it's the concern around deliverability, right? Which I completely get, because if you're not doing segmentation properly like we are at the agency, then if you're sending daily campaigns to a broader list, which for example could just be like 90 days engaged, for example, you do run the risk of going into spam, which is why I actually developed this software called Inbox Cure that is essentially our, I guess, like secret sauce that we've been gatekeeping for about 14 months now in the agency. We've finally productized it and rolled it out to the wider public, which essentially is like an AI deliverability tool that focuses on helping brands get their emails out of the promotions folder and straight into the primary. Generally, we see a 20 to 40% revenue increase per email with this software. So, if you're interested in that, feel free to book a call. Or if you're a really big brand and you simply don't have the bandwidth to be sending daily campaigns, but you actually believe in my logic and believe in the fact that it will actually benefit the brand to do so, feel free to book in a call with the team, and we look forward to talking to you soon.